This time we're on King Island, a dreamscape of greenery, ocean, beaches and rugged coastline. The food's great, there's golf by the sea, artwork and more. Now Graham, we're on the site of your new golf course development here at King Island. This is Ocean Dunes.
That's right, yes.
Now the first thing that strikes me is what an amazing location.
Yeah, well we had quite a lot of land to choose from on the coast of King Island. 64 kilometres of links land, perfect for golf from one end of the island to the other. The west coast is a pretty rugged coast, and because of that ruggedness over the years you get these massive sand dunes forming. We plan to open on the 23rd of January of next year.
All right. And how far are you into that completion? You must be pretty close now.
Well, our construction will be finished in November, and we'll have a couple of months to grow in the last couple of holes.
Okay. How difficult a project has it been then to shape this land into this course?
The reason that we chose this site was because there would be a minimum of earthworks to do to create a golf course, and we've tried to work with the land as much as possible to minimise the earthworks for two reasons. One is we want it to look as natural as possible, and secondly there's less cost in doing it that way. The weather makes it difficult when you're working on the coast in the middle of Bass Strait, but to shape the land hasn't been difficult. The land is essentially been shaped by nature, and we've selected out the holes within that land. We've had golf photographers and golf riders down to look at what we're doing, and the response that we've had has been really positive.
Okay.
From every hole bar the 18th you have a view of the ocean.
This view here?
Yeah.
It's not bad, is it?
No, that's a bit of an understatement. Yeah, it's pretty special and spectacular.
King Island Fishing Tours is my business. Been operating here about 18 months now. We're fishing off Red Hut today, targeting salmon and maybe the odd mullet. We've got a fair bit of wind on. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. We've got the sand dune hopefully protecting us from most of it, but we'll see how we go. I think we might go and try and get onto some fish before this weather turns totally nasty.
Okay, what's the rod made of?
The rod's a fiberglass composite. They're just a basic start out rod, easy operation for all types of people. Righto mate, I think we'll go and get into some fish, eh?
Yeah. It started to rain while we walked along this beach, and I got really wet. Matthew didn't, because his dad gave him some proper stuff to wear. Matthew said this was a good place because the gutter looked right and there might be some awesome fish. The sun came out and Matthew showed me how to tie a knot in the line so the hook and sinker would stay on.
Righto Jack, simple knot. Probably the one you use most in fishing of all time, right?
Yep. The rods are hard to cast, but I thought I did a good job.
Get coming, cast! Bring him up like so.
It rained again, and I got soaked again. And then I caught a fish. I wanted to keep it, but Matthew said to put it back. After that, we walked to the car. I'll go fishing here again, but next time I hope it doesn't rain, and I hope Dad will get me some proper stuff.
Located in the mining town of Grassy, and overlooking Bass Strait and the rambling greenery of the now disused Grassy golf course, is Portside Links Art Gallery. Here is a space designed to showcase the many art and craft talents of the locals and beyond. The gallery features an eclectic mix of work with a focus on landscape painting and sculpture. And on this island, there's plenty to capture the imagination. With its rugged coastal scenery, dunes, hills and lush greenery, all at the mercy of those roaring 40s winds, King Island has long been a drawcard to artists of all persuasion. Lighthouses and the shipwrecks they've sometimes failed to prevent are everywhere here, with wind and sea an inspiration. The gallery is an attractive space, a visitor drawcard and an important part of the King Island idyll. If you're planning a visit to King, this is Netherby Downs. The house is in a coastal bush setting with magnificent views and only 10 kilometres from Curry. Inside there's lots of polished Tasmanian oak and plenty of room to relax. You can call them on the numbers below.
I'm with Ian Johnson of King Island Holiday Villages and Tours, and he's brought me to this beautiful location. Ian, where are we?
We're on the historical property known as Surprise Bay, and we're fifth generation now that farm this piece of land behind us, and it's amazing to think that they've hung on to it all that time and nurtured it and looked after it. It's fragile country, it's all in sand dunes, but absolutely picturesque to travel over.
And we're on the four-wheel drive tour. Are there some more lovely locations like this?
Yep, and we take the worry out of knowing where to go and what to see, and there's so many different things that we'll be looking at. We'll go from Big Lake, Seal Rocks, a dramatic bit of coastline, to a lovely spot where I'm going to smuggle you into for morning tea.
Oh, lovely. And so will we get to see a few places that some people visiting the island may not be able to get to?
Absolutely, and that's part of our tour. We take people where others can't. We go over the sand dunes, we make our own tracks, we discover things that the normal visitor just doesn't see on King Island, and that dramatic coastline scenery. So if you're an elderly person with knee injuries or things like that, you don't have to worry. We take you right to the front door, the waves lap at our wheels, and it's a great day.
Ian, all this fresh air and sunshine and views is lovely, but are you going to feed me?
Absolutely. Paddock to plate experience, and you two will hop through the day. It's wallaby today.
Okay.
I'm going to do a red wine reduction sauce with our local King Island wallaby, and to accompany that I've got Houston Farm salads, and I've also got Harvest Moon vegetables to go with it as well. So I really need to start to get on with this red wine reduction sauce and chopping up the stock to begin with. Cut up the carrot, get into a bit of leek, and then of course we've got the celery. Smash up a bit of garlic, a few herbs as well, bay leaf. Will just infuse itself out with a bit of King Island butter, and away we go. We'll get that all into the pan. Right, so that's nicely caramelised now. Now we're going to put the Pinot straight in, about a cupful. And we'll start reducing that down now. We'll cook off all the alcohol out of that and let all the sugars do its work for us. It's time to add our stock. So we tip our stock straight in. About a cupful will do it. Give that a bit of a stir around. You can just sit there and watch that reduce for a little while. There's just one more little thing that I'd like to crush up, a few of the King Island blueberries, just to give that a little bit of extra flavour. So I'm just going to squash them in there, not too many. Get that happening for us as well. So we're just going to reduce that off a little bit more. We'll be able to strain it off out of the pan and then return our sauce back to the heat and just finish it off for a little bit of thickening. The sauce is really caramelised now. It's time to take the stock out of it, separate it, put it aside for later on. So here we go with the wallaby back straps. King Island has about 500,000 of these Bennett wallabies on the island, so it's only fitting that Johnny Pichetto, our local butcher, does something with them. It costs the farmers about $20 million a year in lost fodder from what the wallabies eat here on the island. So it's quite a significant loss to them, but a great gain for us. So I'll get a bit of the Houston salad on the plate and plate up this King Island wallaby using the back straps, and of course our sauce to go with it, the red wine reduction sauce. So there it is, King Island wallaby on a plate.
Manuel, Hadspen is not far from Launceston,
That's 10 minutes drive just down the highway.
and here we are, Discovery Hadspen. How important is the location then of the park?
Location is very important because it allows you to market to the guests, depending on what the guests are wanting to come and see while they're in Tasmania and how close you are to all the different activities and tourism.
Tell me about the grey nomads, how big are they?
They're massive through the months of November through till probably the end of April about this time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they represent a big part of the business?
They represent a lot of the powered sites.
Oh, okay.
So they come through with their caravans and then generally just in twos. Some of them come in groups of fours, they travel together.
Do you cater for families then? How do you do that?
We definitely cater for families in our 6-berth cabins. We can cater for families with the queen bed in one room and the double bunks in the other rooms as well. We also have some small budget cabins which business people can come and stay for 1 night, 2 nights. That's nice and cheap if they do business in Launceston. And something a little bit more luxurious, we have our spa cottages and superior cottages as well.
Is it possible then for a visitor to say, I want to book Devonport, Cradle Mountain, Launceston? Can they do that?
Yeah, we have a Tas Packages number that they can call and they can book for every park around the state and plan their holiday.
If you follow some of King Island's history, it'll bring you to some fabulous locations like this one. But it's not just a beautiful beach and a beautiful bay, it's also the site of the British Admiral Shipwreck. The ship went down in 1837 and it had 88 passengers and crew on board and only 9 survived. And those 9 people survived by literally clinging to the wreckage. And then they were washed ashore into the bay just here. They were met by a group of kangaroo hunters who sort of helped them and saved them as best as they could, but then they faced the grisly task of burying the bodies on the bay. But don't let that put you off. It's still a beautiful place with a tragic history, and you can take a wonderful walk along the bay. If you're prepared to brave some wild and woolly weather, there's some fantastic things to see. Behind me is a spot where the ship, the Blencathra, went down. Now the ship sunk in 1875, but everybody was saved. There was no loss of life. Part of the ship's cargo was 800 cases of whiskey, and those 800 cases of whiskey were brought ashore. They were put under armed guard, but despite the armed guard, 75 still went missing. And my guess is there were some pretty happy islanders. Just beyond these rocks is where the ship, the Netherby, went down. Now the ship went down, but there was no loss of life, either passengers or crew. In fact, there was an increase in life, because the day after the ship went down, there was a couple, they already had 3 children, but the mum gave birth to a little baby. And they called the baby Netherby Victoria Louisa. And they called her Netherby after the ship, of course, Victoria after the rescue boat, and Louisa after one of the ladies who came and helped out all the passengers aboard. And if you want to, you can go to the museum and you can see the ship's bell off the Netherby. You can see a blanket that they wrapped the baby in. And there's all sorts of just everyday little artefacts as well. If you're not into the history, I think it's fascinating. It's just fantastic to come here, because as well as the site of the shipwreck, it's just a wonderful spot to come and see.
A lighthouse generally points the way to a safe passage, but some perform the opposite function, to warn of present danger. The treacherous waters around King Island have claimed hundreds of ships and more than 1,000 lives. Yet, despite this danger, many captains decided to risk Bass Strait and shorten the passage to Sydney. In heavy seas, with waves breaking the horizon, it was easy to make a mistake. Thinking they were seeing the revolving Cape Otway light on the Victorian coast, many ships' captains were actually following this, the fixed light of Cape Wickham. And as a result, their ships sailed straight onto King Island's jagged coastline. Some of the delay in building the Cape Wickham lighthouse resulted from fears that it would cause more shipwrecks than it prevented. The Arrow, the Anna and the Blencathra made those fears well-founded. The danger only eased with the construction of the Curry Lighthouse in 1879.
When you're travelling on King Island, you're going to need a car, and there's no better one than this one. It's from King Island Car Rentals. It's a 4-door, it's a Toyota. It's got the flat tray on the back covered over, so for all the catches of fish, you've got somewhere to put them. Not that you need a 4-wheel drive on the island, the roads are good. But other than that, it's a great car to drive anyway. Without the 4-wheel drive, got a CD player, it's got all the things you'd expect from a modern car, and they've got plenty of them. That's King Island Car Rentals, the place to go for a hire car on King Island.
King Island pheasant, when's the season?
The pheasant season's open in June on the Queen's birthday weekend. Only open for 2 days, the Saturday and the Sunday. You're allowed to shoot 3 birds per day, only male birds. We get about 100 shooters come across, that's local and interstate hunters that come over here and hunt our local pheasants.
And what do they taste? Are they similar to chicken?
No, they're a lot more gamier than a chicken.
Bit more flavour?
Royalty poultry, that's what I'd call them. The pheasants come on the island, or how they got to the island, was in 1910. They were brought over here by Dr. Cunningham. He also brought magpies, kookaburras, Californian quail, and he released all those. Magpies and Cali quails are still here, with the kookaburras, they're not here anymore.
There, we can't put, you're making him look at me. We can't put them there. He's waggling his face at me. Sorry.
Stop it.
We can't put the bird in the oven like this. He's got to be plucked, is that what you do?
Yeah, you can pluck them or you can skin them, either way you like. So
plucking, is that skilled, or can anyone have a go?
No, you just tear a couple of feathers out.
Yeah, so
it's pretty easy. Have a go. See what you think.
You've got to give him your back. It's going to take me ages. The roast dinner's going to be a long time coming.
Yeah, I reckon it will be. Being it's Tuesday and Sunday's a few days away. Just for that,
I'll keep going.
I've got one of these. It's already been prepared.
Oh.
So this one here has already been scanned, and that is a pheasant.
So if if I say I prepared this one earlier, no one will believe me.
Well, if I give it to you, it's yours, isn't it? You can have that one, but that is a pheasant.
I might give this away, plucking.
Here on King Island we have many bushes, interesting food chain, none better than the kangaroo apple. It's an amazing bush. It's used for steroid treatment, also the manufacture of pill, and if you've trouble guys downstairs, this will help you out too. So no longer do you have to worry, find the kangaroo apple, but let me tell you, there's a hidden twist to it. If the berries aren't bright red, then you're in trouble, because it's poisonous at this stage. So you need to get the fruit. When it's just about ready to drop on the forest floor, bright red, that's the time to go, guys.
Alanvale is located on the Archers Manor site, just 5 minutes from the centre of Launceston, in a quiet parkland setting adjacent to the Maritime College and University. These motel units offer comfortable accommodation at affordable prices. Alanvale is an ideal spot to explore all of what Tasmania's northern capital, Launceston, has on offer. One of the highlights is this, the Cataract Gorge. Only 5 minutes from the city centre, this remarkable place is a must-see. Bring a picnic lunch and walk around the various paths and trails. There's a chairlift that offers a bird's eye view, a suspension bridge that's an engineering marvel, and if it's warm, a choice of places to swim or just laze in the sun. Heading in the other direction, your Alanvale motel room is just a step away from Tasmania's leading wine region, and a plethora of award-winning vineyards on the Tamar River and beyond. With wine in Tasmania, you really are spoilt for choice. The Alanvale complex is built in sympathy with Old England and set in the tranquil and elegant style of a Tudor village, with its own spacious village green. When you want to enjoy Launceston, the Tamar Valley and more, Alanvale really is the perfect venue. Now, you see this plane coming in? You can fly from Launceston and Burnie to King Island daily. And there are passenger and freight services to and from King as well. And let's not forget golf. If you fancy testing the clubs on one of those fabulous King Island courses, holiday and golf packages for 1 to 3 nights are also on the sharp menu. Go online or call them on 1300 55 6694. Look at this, the Tasmanian Southern Rock Lobster. From Stanley in the northwest to Dover in the southeast and everywhere in between, we're on its trail. Next time on Aussie Holiday.